So recently, Bottega Veneta deleted a lot of their social media accounts, and this led to a frenzy online with loads of people speculating what the reason behind why they actually did this is. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the reasons why people were speculating they deleted their social media accounts, like their Twitter and their Instagram, and just giving my opinions on like whether I think that's the reason why or not. So the first reason was exclusivity on more of like a permanent basis. Now, in high-end fashion, whatever that means, or luxury fashion, whatever that means now, there's this thing where brands do certain things to make them deemed more like exclusive. So a good example is Dior. There was a long time you couldn't buy anything online from Dior, whereas like other luxury brands you could buy online, and that was kind of their thing where you have to come in store, like only people that can come into our stores can buy our stuff type of thing. And it wasn't until recently that you could buy stuff from Dior online, which is quite funny because if they had continued that whole mindset of like, we're exclusive, you can only buy things in store, the company would have gone so bankrupt considering the situation we're in right now globally. So that would have been quite hilarious, which is why I don't think as a luxury brand you should limit anything, to be honest, because you never know what can happen. So under the same breath, I think if Bottega Veneta is trying to play the same we are inaccessible type of game, I personally don't think it's going to work. In 2021, for the most part, people are on the streets less and more at home. Therefore, if you think of like advertisements in different ways, whether we're talking about billboards or like public transport with the whole posters on buses and train lines and stuff like that, everyone is literally looking to social media and online things because we're staying at home more and nothing else. And I also think why social media is really important is social media gives brands the ability to control the narrative very quickly. So a good example now is a lot of designers are doing marketing through movies and TV shows, which is like a very new way of like marketing on a mass basis. It's something that's always been done, but right now it's something that's more prominent, especially with Netflix and things like that and the success of Netflix. And what a lot of luxury brands have been doing is when, an actress wears something in a movie and there's a lot of speculation around like, oh, who wore this? What brand is this? The brand will come out and make a little campaign or capsule collection featuring like how you can style something like that person, like the character from the movie or the TV show. And that normally leads to things selling out really quickly. That's one way you can control the narrative and things like that. And just other reasons like keeping people engaged, staying relevant. I think social media is very, very important for those things. And also, when you think of the target audience that Bottega Veneta wants, they want Gen Z and millennials. Now, Gen Z and millennials, statistically, they do a lot of their buying, if not most of their buying, from social media and seeing things on social media, especially when talking about fashion. I also don't think Bottega Veneta has the market share to even try and attempt to do anything exclusive. When I read the quarterly revenue reports for each of the conglomerates, whether it's LVMH or Kering or whoever, you can clearly see that Bottega, they have revenues in like the low hundreds of millions. Now that is a totally different world from brands like, Gucci or Dior or Chanel. These are brands that they have revenue in the billions, literally on a quarterly basis. And if Bottega wants to rise to the level of those brands, then I don't see how they're going to do that, deleting their social media accounts and alienating the biggest part of their customer base. It'd just be a bit strange. And I know some of you might be thinking, fashion isn't all about money. And now, while I agree, and I kind of dislike how commercial fashion has become, any brand that's owned by a conglomerate, let's not kid ourselves. The goal is to make money for shareholders. The goal is not, to be this artistic brand that moves fashion creativity forward. That's not what Bottega Veneta is about. And we know this because the brand as a whole is extremely commercial. And then also when I think of artistic fashion, I think It's a lot easier when a brand is independent because they don't follow the rules of a conglomerate, as they're not so money focused. Like people like Alexander McQueen, who just crazy designers, one of the greatest designers of all time. He actually used to deliberately make a loss on his runway shows because he just cared about creating memories. I don't think that's Bottega Veneta. So as much as people like to believe that all fashion is really artistic, I think it depends on what designer we're talking about. I think it depends on what brand. Like when I think of Daniel Lee, as much as I would wear a lot of Bottega Veneta, that doesn't mean I think Daniel Lee's like one of the most artistic designers we've ever seen. I don't think of Daniel Lee and put him in the same conversation as people like Rei Kawakubo or Yohji Yamamoto or Mary Quant, Madeleine Vionnet, Alexander McQueen. I don't really put him in that conversation. So I don't think we should be that naive and think that, you know, these massive fashion brands, at the heart of everything they do is money. And also when I think of the brands with the biggest market share when it comes to fashion, whether we're talking about Louis Vuitton, which is probably the biggest fashion brand, or Gucci, those type of brands, they all have social media. So what position is Bottega in that they're like, yeah, we're like above social media? So that's why I don't feel like, for all these reasons, I don't feel like the reason Bottega Veneta shut down their social media pages is because they're trying to be more exclusive. I'm not really inclined to thinking that. So the second reason people were speculating why their social media pages were deleted was they wanted to have a total revamp of the marketing and the direction of the brand, which is kind of more believable. I think there's many cases where brands will literally completely change the way it's marketed or the look or the aesthetic or just many different aspects of it. So it's still believable. I can say this is definitely a more believable reason why they would shut down their social media pages. However, I personally don't think that's the reason either. So the third speculation, and this was big on Twitter, some people thought the Twitter accounts and the Instagram accounts have been hacked. Now, this is also a possibility. I think any social media account is hackable. It's not like Instagram accounts are like crazy encrypted. Like there's not some crazy high level of security on Instagram accounts. Any person who's really, really skilled in terms with computers or IT wise could probably hack into an Instagram account if they like gave enough time to it. So it's believable, but I don't think if their accounts were hacked, I think Bottega Veneta is too big of a brand to not be able to handle that after the fact. I think they would have dealt with it by now. So that's why I don't think that's the reason. Now, the reason I think they deleted their social media accounts is, I think it's all a marketing ploy. I think that Bottega Veneta, at the end of the day, they need to market their Spring Summer 21 collection that will be hitting stores, or for lack of a better term, let's say it will be hitting websites, depending on if the stores are open or not. So they kind of have to create a buzz around that. And I think a good way to create a buzz, because I mean, I'm making a video about it now, so I think it's smart marketing, is to delete the social media accounts. Everyone talks about it. They go quiet for a bit. And then when they come back, because they've been gone for so long, there's more of a buzz around them being back and, oh, Bottega is back. And that creates a really big buzz. They coincide it with their next launch of clothing. So that's the reason I personally think they deleted their social media accounts. Either way, I think it's all interesting stuff. Comment down below what you think. Why do you think they deleted their social media accounts? I'm really curious to get different people's opinions. And yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video talking about it because a lot of people did hit me up on Instagram asking my opinion, so much so I was just like, okay, I just have to make a video about this. So yeah, like this video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to support the channel, then you can do so by subscribing to my Patreon. On my Patreon, you get access to exclusive content as well. So it's a win-win situation. And on that note, don't forget to comment down below what you personally think. And on that note, I'll be back with another video very soon.